What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Dead Reflections Podcast. We are your hosts,
Colby,
Caleb,
Kyle,
and I'm your boy Josh, aka Drifter Voyages. You didn't say your Twitch handle.
Caic, it's fine.
It's fine. Dude, I'm super excited. This is awesome. Episode 1 was super fun, and we're really excited to continue to keep doing this. This episode is actually not being live streamed on Twitch. It is just being recorded. Why do I feel so awkward?
A normal podcast.
Normal. This one's a normal podcast, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's one of the things that we wanted to set us aside from other podcasts, is that we want to be able to interact with you live when we record. So every other episode is going to be live. We go live every Monday night, either on Drifter Voyages channel or Caic Twitch. You can come into those live streams and be a part of it. You can ask us questions during the chat segments. So the way we have it set up now, we've done some changes to the schedule of how these podcasts are going to come out. So no matter what, you're going to get content on Monday because we are going to release a new episode Monday morning. We are going to record a live episode Monday night. And then Monday night's live recording is going to be coming out on Fridays. So if you're here for the stream, Fridays is going to be a rerun for you. Sorry, but you can catch new content on Mondays. And if you aren't here for the stream, you're just a regular listener, you get new content Mondays and Fridays.
I think Josh put it best. The streams are just a live viewing of the recording.
Yeah, that's good. You know what I just noticed? You're wearing Cake's streamer hat, and I'm wearing my own. What does that say? Give me Cake's, and you wear mine.
Nah.
My hair.
Okay, never mind. My hair.
I don't want people to see my bald head.
Yeah, same. 30s suck.
Is anybody else? Okay, aside from you.
Yeah. So one of our favorite podcasts does a little mini segment before they start telling stories.
Just preface getting in the zone.
And they share what they're wearing sock wise.
Miss Lindsay.
Thank you, Dan and Lindsay, for that
Scared to
entertainment.
Shout out to Scared to Death. Yeah.
And so we wanted to do what band merch we're wearing.
Yeah.
If you're wearing
that's
it.
90% of our attire.
We just came
sorry,
up.
yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
Also,
Okay.
we will definitely put a link to their Spotify on the show notes. So, what band shirts do we have today? And also, any creepypasta stories and things like that, we will also put a link to in the show notes to where you can find that as well.
Yeah.
What bands do we got going on right
I'm rocking our band,
of course,
because I came from work.
Grab the
And
merch box.
I just grabbed a fresh new merch item.
Yeah. What about you?
I got the boys that gave us the name of our band, Ghost Key.
Yeah.
Shout out Ghost Key.
Yeah, they're the dads. Here, move a little bit. Your microphone's blocking. Look at that. That is one of the coolest logos ever.
The back is even cooler.
I'm not gonna turn around there.
And we didn't make up this whole part until this stream. Last stream, I was wearing Brightburn, our buddies in Brightburn. I was wearing one of their shirts.
Nice.
You had a Power Trip shirt on.
Yeah.
And a Power Trip shirt.
R.I.P. Riley Gale.
Yeah, R.I.P. Maybe that's the ghost that touched you in the
Oh,
back.
dang.
I did
Oh,
tell
this
that.
is a good segue. Now you've seen it on the social medias
Oh,
and stuff,
no.
but real quickly and just go over what it was
Yeah.
again.
So thank you for reminding me
He was sitting right there.
in this exact spot. Yeah, so we wrapped up episode 1. This is episode 2, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he already said
Okay, shut up. So episode 1 we wrapped up, and Kyle had already left, but Josh and Caleb were still here.
Mm-hmm. We were standing like right over in
Wrapping
this
up
area,
wires.
Literally 15 feet away.
Right? Yeah.
I was about to pick up my laptop and take it home, when I was in a little higher chair. I'm shorter.
Yeah, you short
this
today.
week,
You're
but I was in a little bit of a higher chair, the same chair that Josh was in. So yeah. And I turn and lean back a little bit because I'm like talking to them, or they're talking, and I'm like listening to their conversation. And and I lean back and I feel pressure up against my back, like right in the middle of my shoulders. And it felt like
Kyle's like, fuck that.
the best way I can describe it is that it felt like I leaned on like something solid. Like I thought there could have been a support on the shelf above me that I was leaning back on. As you can see,
Yeah, there's nothing there.
there's nothing there. It's just a free
In
hanging
the
shelf.
seat that he was sitting in, there's no back.
Yeah.
I am sitting in the seat he was sitting in. There's nothing here.
So that's where I want to cut off your part of it. And from what we saw, it was purely us talking. I didn't actually see his face, but you did.
Yeah, so he literally was in the middle of saying something, and he just starts going. And he's like, oh, fuck that. And he like gets up. Oh, you guys can't see. He starts, if you're listening, he starts looking back and forth like frantically and looking behind himself and everything and like
then
looking up. And
The
he,
infamous words.
yeah, he gets
No,
up and
no,
he's like,
no,
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 no, no, no, no. And he stands up. He's like, fuck all that,
Just-
blah, blah, blah.
I'm like, oh no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no.
And about this time, me and Caleb were like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he's like, no, no.
Got up,
Man was pale.
stood
Like,
up from the table, came
the
around
reason-
on Kyle and my side, and was looking at his chair like, no way, no, no.
So the reason that I couldn't like just fathom it is just because like my whole thing is I don't have any personal like paranormal like happenings that have happened to me, and of course I get all the creepy shit happening to me whenever we start this.
I think
this
these ghosts
project.
want to pop his creepy haunting cherry. That's what
So
it is.
if I get touched during this,
That
no.
was the worst line you could have picked after me saying that.
well,
Hopefully, it
I
happens
get
while the
touched.
cameras are rolling, because that would be ideal. Oh man, I hope
Yeah,
so.
dude. If we could get it happening while we're doing, that would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
the shit. So in light of that, now we're gonna light. So every episode we have a black candle that we're gonna light for to signal the episode. We have 2 candles here. I put them side by side in the camera view so you can only see one, and that was really dumb of me. But
Fine, there'll be
so
one.
essentially, this
eventually.
candle is going to be going the whole time. If you
Kinda
catch
see-
it blowing
Yeah,
out,
put your hand behind it.
please
Yeah, put
in the
your-
comments or something, be like, hey, at this time it blew out, because that'll really help me as far as like amplifying that. But here we go. So, boom, it's going. We forgot to get
No.
the candle, or no, we didn't have a lighter the first episode,
Yeah.
so
well,
we
don't we
burned
need
it
to
after.
add another one at the end, right?
Huh?
Because we add one every episode, correct?
We did
Yeah,
it
we already
behind the
did. There's
scenes,
2
yeah.
right here.
Oh, I can't,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
see, they're lined up because
We got our new centerpiece.
Yeah, we
sitting
got
here.
it. Yeah, this is our little jar.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
So I think that's enough little prefacing.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
you ready for your
I do-
introductory story?
I do declare.
I do
I'm
declare.
gonna pick a hair off of your microphone.
Look at here. Ooh.
That's what happens when you have beards. I noticed that we all have
Thank you.
beards.
You're welcome.
It's nice. Very nice.
Okay. All right, this one's called The Rose of Dread Mother, and it is by, hold on. It is by Ariel R. Subrata
on Creepypasta?
on Creepypasta.
All right.
Once again, before you preface, that'll be in the show notes.
Yes. Yes.
If you want to go read this for yourself, spook yourself. Once again.
Okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready to listen? Your ears open?
All right, let's
go.
Yeah, I'm more dialed in this episode for
I'm
sure
ready
than
to get
last one.
scared.
All right, again, this one's called The Rose of Dread Mother. All right. I was 12 years old when I met my mother. We just moved into a new neighborhood. Autumn leaves began to dribble as my dad started to unpack our things. My brother, who was 4 at the time, was playing with his imaginary friend, who he supposedly just met when we moved in. My brother invited me to play with her, telling me that his friend wanted to introduce himself. Thinking it was absurd of him to have an imaginary friend, I objected his offer. Fine, I'll tell her to meet her yourself, said my brother. My brother had always avoided talking to other girls since our mother passed away. So I thought it was natural for him to have a sort of motherly figure, or perhaps even a friend. Later that night, however, the first encounter had happened. I was sitting in a boat in the middle of wind. I was sitting in a boat in the middle of a rather foggy lake. I could still feel the wind touching my ears. Is this real? Might this be a dream? So I took a glimpse of my surroundings. I saw a wooden cabin with its door open, and I also noticed that the lake was surrounded by trees, making me unable to see what's beyond it. But that's when I saw it, a beautiful, doll-like figure wearing a humongous white gown. She had a red crimson hair as if she dyed herself with blood. I couldn't take my eyes off her. It's as if she would slaughter me if I blinked, if for just a moment. Before I knew it, her bright black eyes were staring back at me, giving me a chill down my spine. She opened up a humongous, horrifying smile, impossible for a normal person. Her mouth was pitch black, that I couldn't even see her teeth. This thing's. I'm sorry. I'm reading it weird because it's worded very weirdly,
It's okay.
and my phone's glitching out. Anyways,
That's actually the creepypasta website.
yeah, you saw it. It kind of juked me out there.
But we move.
She chuckled, laughed for a bit, then let out a dark, psychotic laugh. She let her gown open and revealed my brother's mutilated head, as well as many others just swinging as if it was attached to a string. Now it's your turn, Danny. My sanity was being tested. I was about to go mad. An hour in this place, and I would have gone to a psychotic tantrum, but I didn't. I just stood there, somehow feeling very calm about the situation, thinking that it's all just a dream. Then the sound of my alarm rung across the room. I was sweating all over my body, catching only glimpses of what had happened last night. Fear, insanity, distraught, and sadness I experienced in the glimpse. Never in my early days have I felt something so dread and so full of hate. I can only imagine what dreams I had last night. So I went downstairs for breakfast and began forgetting the matter. "Did you meet her?" said my brother. I had forgotten about what had happened last night, so I chuckled for a moment and said, "Met who?" "The pretty lady in the gown, silly. I told you she'd meet you," said my brother. Expressionless, I began to remember what happened last night. Then I screamed at the top of my lungs as if it happened right before me. How could he possibly have known about the dream? I over-panicked the situation, and asthma began to take over. I didn't have my inhaler back then. Unable to breathe, I saw a blurry vision of what seemed to be the woman suffocating me while staring at me with her eyes wide open. Then the next thing I know, I was in the hospital bed. "Danny, are you all right?" "It's okay. You're in safe hands now. Daddy's going to work now, so be on your best behavior," said my dad in a comforting manner. I was speechless. I left a blank expression as my father left the room. Before I knew it, I was alone in a dark room. Wait, no. It didn't feel right. Something is inside the room beside me. Something dark with malicious intent. Then I began to notice the various corners in the room were exceptionally dark, except one of them stood out. It was pure black, blacker than that of the blackest sky. The more I stare at it, the brighter the other corner seemed. Then she appeared right above me. Her crimson red hair was swinging as I began to lose my sanity, all the while fondling with my hair as if it was hers to own. I didn't want to even look at her face, even if it meant my death. Then she just stopped. The room didn't seem so dark anymore. It's as if she lost interest in me. I checked my surroundings over and over and over again until I realized she wasn't here anymore. Then I began crying hysterically until I was tired enough to sleep. I was in the lake again. This time it was still. The place was so silent that I can hear my own heartbeat. The fog began to thicken. I knew that this wasn't over yet. She wanted me. She wanted my head, and nothing's going to stop it. Before I knew it, she was right in front of me. She gave me a blank expression as if she was waiting for a response. I felt like if I gave the wrong answer, she would kill me on the spot. However, I knew I was going to die either way, but I didn't care. I looked at her, smiled at her, then said, "Insanity must be a pretty thing to have." She smiled back at me. But this time, it wasn't a horrifying, psychotic smile, but rather a warm, but gentle smile. "Aye, it sure is," she said. Gently, she inserted a bright red rose as beautiful as her into my palms. "I bid you farewell. May this be a reminder to you that for whatever reason you choose to come here again, I will welcome you as if one of my children, and I will protect you even at the cost of life," she said. I woke up the next day as if the whole situation had never happened. I also noticed that the rose was still in my palms. I looked at the window and smiled. Insanity is a precious thing. Right, Mother?
Oh,
That was a good one.
Shit.
That wasn't so like malicious, but that was a pretty good story.
Dude,
It said
that
4
sent-
minutes, and I feel like that took a whole lot longer.
That sent chills
Well.
down my back, dude. Okay,
So yeah,
that was
I
really
saw
hard
that.
to concentrate.
I don't know if you saw that, Kyle, but
So
I
this-
saw you tripping out over here. What was that
so
about?
so
Yeah, what was
I don't,
going on
dude.
with
I
you?
don't know. So what the first thing that happened that I looked this way. I looked to my right, and because I felt like air blow like right here, like it was like it felt like somebody like swooshed their hand past my neck, and like when I did that,
Now,
dude,
there-
I got
there
a
is
wave.
fan down here. Just
I got a wave of fucking
Yeah,
like
I saw you started
emotion.
to
like
cry
my,
a
little.
yeah, my I just started like dude, I don't know, dude. I'm
You good?
The drum, that throne's haunted.
you're not lying to us, right?
no. What? I
don't know
can't
if
make
I don't think
myself
you could-
cry.
I don't
Like,
think you'd be able to do it.
like I
think
didn't know
couldn't
what
do it.
to do, and like it was that was weird.
No,
That's
I know
so
it was
weird.
real because you were shocked that it was happening. In
Yeah.
the moment. That's creepy.
I don't know. That was strange. That was strange. I don't know what that is. You know, if anybody listening or watching this, if you know
You good, Kyle?
I
what
think
to
it's
call
just
that,
a moment of just
it was it was almost like they wafted their emotions on me, because that's what it felt like. Is it felt like someone like went like with
and
their
I don't
hand.
like that. That scares me more than you getting touched. Okay.
That was intense. And then I'm trying to like I didn't want to interrupt him, and I was like the whole time I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, I saw you
But
in my peripheries.
Your delivery though, that still got me. I got
That was a
chills
good
down my
story.
back. Yeah, like that was a good story.
I just need to
That was
stop
a good story.
stuttering so much. And
Nah,
my phone,
dude,
you
you're
saw,
good.
you saw my
Just
phone like
That's Creepypasta's website,
Yeah.
Fuck
Next
it.
time,
It
just
snapped
copy and
my
paste
ankles.
that shit. That's what I would do.
and we'll give the credit in the post
Yeah,
or show notes
yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
But
Oh man.
thoughts
that-
on stories like that where it's not a scary demon trying to get you, but maybe a protective spirit?
Yeah, dude. Okay, like I mean, it's kind of like what other people say. It's like we don't know. Like they don't have to all be malicious. Like the story that I have is not necessarily malicious in a sense.
Neither is mine, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you know, it's because like I think that you know there can be malicious spirits that are angry, which in all honesty those are probably like demons or something. And then like I think that there can be people stuck in like a purgatory sense. Like when I imagine purgatory, I imagine it being like you're there and everyone's around you, but nobody can see you. And it's like they collect enough energy to allow themselves to kind of be seen for a second, and that's the
Would you
the repetitive shit that we
Interesting.
see.
would
yeah.
you classify like residual hauntings in like a
Stuck in, like, a
that same
loop?
setting?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And maybe well, no, cuz not for everything, I don't think, because like I was going to say like maybe when ghosts become malicious is because they've been stuck for so long that they're pissed, you know?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
possible.
And then that's why they get angry, and like maybe also since anger is such a strong emotion, it gives them more ability to fuck with shit. You know, like I don't know,
the thing
like
that gets me about the good stories is if you're gonna accept the good stories as being true, then the bad ones are
the
true
bad
too.
ones are true too. God damn it, you just gave me goosebumps. Because
Yeah,
like
this-
it's kind of like what the people Dan and Lindsay from Scared
Yeah,
of That
just
say.
one.
It just takes one story to be true for them to all be true.
Exactly.
Or
It
have
only
the
takes
potential
one.
to be true. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Your turn now, right?
Yeah.
All right.
good story.
So my story also comes from creepypasta. I believe it's just called Footsteps, and if you, it's one of the more popular ones on Creepypasta.
All right.
Can you tell why we have the footstep story?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh fuck! I forgot about this.
So last episode we pulled from this little guy, and
A little jar.
so
of
we're
spooky
doing that
stories.
every episode. We pull 2, correct?
I believe we'll try for 2. Yeah.
2. One is encounters that we've had, like
Gotta tell
on
'em
the spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Encounters that we've had, or just like stories that we've heard from just like popular
Whatever comes up.
pop culture, just like
A filler,
any-
if you
yeah,
want to call
a filler,
it that.
yeah. And then the other one is
Somebody at the table has to
Yeah.
choose it and create a story or
right.
find a story for the next episode. So at the end of the last episode, we had footsteps drawn from the jar. Colby said, I want to take footsteps. And
Yeah.
that'll be my story for next episode.
just because I know Footsteps fuck with Josh, and yeah,
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that scares me way more than the
Dude,
touch.
I've never experienced that before. That's weird. Like I don't know how I'm trying to wrap my head around, and I don't know what to. Like the only thing that comes to mind is I watched it was like a ghost hunter show.
Yeah, Ghost Adventures. So
and he
Zach,
was-
he
yeah,
has that happen to him a few
and
times.
he just like I remember it was
Where
one
they
of
wanna
those
think
ones
it's
where the
fake or
camera was literally right on him, and he just all of a sudden like
just
he,
starts
he saw his
feeling it.
face like it
Yeah.
went from the top
So I mean,
of his head down to his.
so we've been talking to this guy at work how about I forget what it's called, but this place in Schulenburg where they're like
it was called Monogram, but I think it's called something
Monogram.
different now.
so it's like meat packing and they process meats and all this stuff.
Like-
So
it's
he
like
said when you
smoked
walk
meat.
in, yeah, there's a feeling like it's just a different energy as soon as you
Oh yeah,
walk in.
he showed us like security footage.
It looks like a horror film.
Shit is terrifying.
we
they-
need to get that.
Like,
wanna
I don't
put
use
that
the
on
word
the-
We're in the works of
often.
something for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Whether it be a guest or a pre-made video.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
figure
I have an idea of where I want to video him and possibly get because he knows the owner, and so
good?
possibly get a video of the owner.
Okay. Are you okay?
So yeah, my story also comes from Creepypasta. I believe it's called Footsteps. It's one of the more popular ones. If you just search on Creepypasta, you'll find it. Yeah.
I'll interject. Do you want to talk about where you got the story from?
Oh, that's right. I forgot again. So each week we pull from this nice little, what would you call this? Just like a jewelry box.
Definitely not a jewelry box. That's not what it is.
It's not a jewelry box.
It's
a story
it's
box.
definitely a story box.
We bought it off of
Shaq lives
off
in
of
there.
a
Story
dude
jar.
in
Got
the
it
middle
from a
of the
dude in a
desert.
van.
Switch to my cam.
He said that it was magical.
But yeah, basically we have little papers with prompts written on them, and every week we pull 2. One, we're gonna just come up with stories that we've heard, or just instances that have happened to us. Tell those stories, and then the second one is going to set up the prompt for a story of the next episode. And so, like last week, we pulled Footsteps, and I was like, "Ooh, that's perfect." Josh hates footsteps. I'm gonna do a footstep story.
Preferably the ones that go
But you
from
have
quiet
feet.
to loud, where they run to you. Like I can't.
But you have feet.
Can't avoid it.
Are we having deja vu? Didn't we say that last
did,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
So, it is now time for Footsteps.
Oh shit.
Headlights, headlights, headlights.
In a quiet room, if you press your ear against a pillow, you can hear your heartbeat. As a kid, the muffled rhythmic beats sounded like soft footsteps on a carpeted floor. So, as a kid, almost every night, just as I was about to drift off to sleep, I would hear these footsteps. And I would be ripped back to consciousness, terrified. For my entire childhood, I lived with my mother in a fairly nice neighborhood that was a transitional phase. People of lower economic means were gradually moving in, and my mother and I were two of these people. We lived in the kind of house you see being transported in two pieces on the interstate, but my mom took good care of it. There are a lot of woods surrounding the neighborhood that I would play in and explore during the day, but at night, as things often do it to a kid, they took on a mere sinister feeling. This coupled with the fact that due to the nature of our house, there was a fairly large crawl space underneath.
Oh, shit.
And it filled my mind with imaginary monsters and inescapable scenarios which would consume my thoughts when I was awakened by the footsteps. I told my mom about the footsteps, and she said I was just imagining things. I persisted enough that she blasted my ears with water from a turkey baster once to appease me. Yeah.
Oh
Just
my god.
You make it sound like it's normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
Like, boy, you hear footsteps? I gotta clean your ears out.
I'm gonna clean those footsteps out of your ears.
Since I thought that would help. Of course it didn't. Despite all the creepiness and footsteps, the only weird thing that ever happened was that every now and then, I would wake up on the bottom bunk, despite having gone to sleep on the top. But this wasn't really weird, since I'd sometimes get up to use the restroom or get something to drink and couldn't remember just going back to sleep on the bottom bunk. This would happen once or twice a week, but waking up on the bottom bunk wasn't too terrifying. But one night, I didn't wake up on the bottom bunk. I heard the footsteps, but was too far gone to be woken from them. And when I was awoken, it wasn't from the sound of the footsteps or a nightmare, but it was because I was cold. Really cold. When I opened my eyes, I saw stars.
What?
I was in the woods.
Oh, shit.
I sat up immediately and tried to figure out what was going on. I thought I was dreaming, but that didn't seem right. Though neither did me being in the woods. There was a deflated pool float right in front of me. One of those ones shaped like a shark. This only added to the surreal feeling. But after a while, it seemed like I just wasn't going to wake up because I wasn't asleep. I stood up to orient myself, but I didn't recognize these woods. I played in the woods by my house all the time, so I knew them really well. But if these weren't the same woods, then how could I get out? I took a step and felt a shooting pain in my foot, which knocked me back to where I had just been laying. I had stepped on a thorn. By the light of the moon, I could see that they were everywhere. I looked at my other foot, but it was fine. As a matter of fact, so was the rest of me. I didn't have another scratch on me, and I wasn't even that dirty. I cried for a little bit, and then I stood back up. I didn't know which way to go, so I just picked a direction. I resisted the urge to call out, since I wasn't sure I wanted to be found by who or what might be out there.
That was smart.
I walked for what seemed like hours. I tried to walk in a straight line and tried to course correct when I had to take detours, but I was a kid and I was afraid. There weren't any howls or screams, and only once did I hear any noise that scared me. It sounded like a crying baby.
Fuck.
I think now it was just a cat, but I panicked. I ran, veering in different directions to avoid big, thick thickets of bushes and collapsed trees. I was paying close attention to where I stepped because by that point my feet were in pretty bad shape. I paid too much attention to where I was stepping and not enough to where those steps were leading. Because not long after hearing the cry I saw, something that filled me with a kind of despair that I haven't experienced since. It was the pool float. I was only 10 feet from where I had woken up.
What?
This wasn't magic or some supernatural space bending. I was lost.
Shit.
Up until that moment, I thought more about getting out of the woods than how I got in. But being back at the beginning caused my mind to swim. I wasn't even sure that these were my woods. I had only been hoping they were. I had run in a huge circle around that spot. Had I run in a huge circle around that spot, or did I just get turned around and start making my way back? How was I going to get out? At the time, I thought the North Star was just the brightest star, so I looked and found the brightest one and followed it. Eventually, things started to look more familiar. When I saw a dirt ditch, my friends and I would have used to have dirt-clawed wars in. I knew I had made it out. By that point, I was walking really slowly because my feet hurt so much. But I was so happy to be so close to my home that I broke into a light jog. When I actually saw the roof of my house over a neighboring low-set house, I let out a light sob and ran faster. I just wanted to be home. I had already decided that I wouldn't say anything because I had no idea what I could possibly say. I would get back in the house somehow, clean up, and get in bed. My heart sunk as I rounded the corner and my house came fully into view. Every light in the house was on. I knew my mom was up, and I knew I would have to explain where I'd been, and I couldn't even figure out where to start. My run became a jog, which became a walk. I saw her silhouette through the blinds, and although I was worried about how to explain things to her, that didn't matter to me at that point. I walked up to the couple of steps to the porch, put my hand on the doorknob and turned. Right when I pushed it open, 2 arms wrapped around me and pulled me back.
What the fuck?
I screamed as loud as I could, "Mom, help me, please, Mom!" The feeling of being so close to being safe and then being physically pulled away from it filled me with a kind of dread that is, even after all these years, indescribable.
Shit.
The door had been torn away from, opened, and a flash of hope shot through my heart. But it wasn't my mom. It was a man, and he was enormous. I thrashed around and kicked at the shins of the person holding me while also trying to get away from the person who had just come out of my house. I was scared, but I was furious. "Let me go! Where is she? Where's my mom? What'd you do to her?" As my throat stung from screaming and I was drawing in another breath, I became aware of a sound that had been present for longer than I had perceived it. "Honey, please calm down. I've got you." It sounded like my mom. The arms loosened and set me down as a man approaching me blocked out the porch light with his head, and I noticed his clothes. He was a cop.
Oh shit.
I turned to
Okay.
face the voice behind me and saw that it was really my mom. Everything was okay. I began to cry, and the 3 of us went inside. "I'm so glad you're home, sweetie. I was worried I'd never see you again."
Something seems wrong.
By that point, she was crying too. "I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I just wanted to come home. I'm sorry." "It's okay. Don't ever do that again. I'm not sure me or my shins could take it." A little laughter broke through my sobs, and I smiled a bit. "Well, I'm sorry for kicking you, but why'd you have to grab me like that?" "I was just afraid you'd run away again." I was confused. "What do you mean?" "We found your note on the pillow," she said,
What?
and pointed at a piece of paper that the police officer was sliding across the table. I picked up the note and read it. It was a running away letter. I said that I was unhappy and never wanted to see her or any of my friends again. The police officer exchanged a few words with my mom on the porch while I stared at the letter. I didn't remember writing a letter. I didn't remember anything about any of this. But even if I sometimes went to the bathroom at night and I didn't remember, or even if I could have gone into the woods on my own, even if all that could have been true, the only thing I knew at that point was, this isn't how you spell my name. I didn't write this letter.
Oh shit. So
that was creepy.
yeah, what the fuck?
You're welcome.
So essentially he was carried or something.
So
Taken away.
something took him out of his room and put him miles away from his home into the woods and wrote a letter.
Yeah, they wanted him.
Yeah,
Good
the
dude. That
intent
was
to keep him.
that was so
Yeah.
smart on that kid's part to be like, I'm gonna be quiet until I know that I'm like home.
Whenever I was reading this for the first time, I was expecting like something in the woods,
Yeah,
like to be there with him.
Yeah.
But because there wasn't,
that's
it made it
more
so,
fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like, where
It's
did
still
it go?
there. It's
yeah,
still
it's
out there.
still
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
still out
The
there.
unknown is still out there.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate it so much. And the footsteps.
Yeah. See the footsteps. They were a prominent part of the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't really. It was more
That
of a
doesn't
setup.
matter. I think that they played their part.
Yeah,
very
they
well.
played their part.
Fuck, dude, the rustling through the bushes sound and shit.
Also, yeah, side note, do we all need to get a stream deck with their own little
Right.
sounds on it? That adds to the story. Like,
yeah,
crazy.
so much, dude.
That's cool.
Dude, my story is not scary.
Did y'all enjoy this one?
Which one?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That was the mom grabbing him right before opening the door,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that whole thing. That was it. I've never heard that. That's a popular story. You
Yeah,
know,
apparently because
I've yet to hear it.
I saw it on multiple like Reddit,
yeah.
another website that also had just short stories, and as well as creepypasta. So
That's like
full credit to the author of that.
Yeah.
I don't have
It'll
the
be in
name,
the show
but,
notes. That's
but
okay.
it'll be in the show notes
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm actually new to creepypasta. I've known about creepypasta since it became a thing, but
Yeah.
like I've never went on the website and read the stories.
No,
you know,
yeah,
so
man.
like,
I remember being in middle school with one of our good friends, Alfonso, where we were watching him on YouTube, where it's like Sonic.exe. I don't know if
Oh,
y'all know what that one is, but that
I
one
don't
still
know.
freaks
Yeah.
me out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is
Like
that-
all these weird, like famous creepypastas. Yeah.
What was that
really-
one creepypasta with the? Is it Jeffrey or Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff the Ripper, Jeff the Killer.
Yeah, something like
Jeff
that.
the Killer is like the one, but also Slenderman, if I'm
Oh my
not
God.
wrong.
Slenderman is a
Oh, yeah.
is a
creepypasta.
creepypasta. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Russian sleep experiment.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
And-
so it's
and-
got a lot of like coveted stories that are
And
well
the
known.
Slenderman one actually caused a real life murder.
Murder, yeah.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
two girls.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
two
Two girls murdered their friend.
Yeah, or tried to actually.
Attempted,
she
yeah.
survived.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
insane. But yeah,
Yeah.
creepypasta.
They're like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Definitely. So for all the people listening and watching, I mean, we're gonna have the stories that we talk about, but definitely check out all the other stories
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because they've got a full arsenal of like creepy stuff to spook yourself with.
Oh yeah, dude. So am I going now and you're going last? Hey everyone. So this is going to be our in-between segment where we talk to chat if we are live streaming on Twitch. We read YouTube comments or comments that we have on the podcast episodes, and any stories or anything like that that you send in to us. So please comment, send in stories to us. You can send it to us on Instagram. Basically every social media that we have, we are on it. And yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Okay. So my story is not necessarily scary, but it is actually a story that has been around since for about 180 years. And it is like a highly documented thing. People see it all the time up until this day. It's about State Highway 35, Angleton, Texas. It's about Bailey's ghost. In 1833, a man named Britt Bailey died and left a list of odd requests for his burial. Bailey wanted to be buried standing up, facing west, and holding his gun over his shoulder. It was a gesture of symbolic importance for the Texas frontiersman, and his compatriots obliged. Only they forgot one important part of the request. Bailey wanted to be buried with a jug he could carry into the afterlife, a jug of whiskey.
Well,
Nice.
That was something that was very important to him. He was a known drunkard.
as one should.
Wait, rye or
Whiskey.
but like what kind of whiskey?
Oh no, whiskey.
Did it have the triple X on the bottom?
Whiskey.
Rye or corn?
For more than 100 years, drivers along State Highway 35 between Angleton and West Columbia have spotted an old man wandering along the road looking for a drink. He thirsty. Bailey was a notorious and eccentric early Texas pioneer named James Britton Britt Bailey. It's a long-ass name. Who arrived in what is now Brazoria County several years before Stephen F. Austin established his old 300 colony in the same area.
Pause.
So Brazoria County is big, but I did live in Brazoria, Texas for about a year, 2 years, where I lived in arguably the most haunted house that I've been in.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you see this man?
So I have watched videos of this, and one of the videos, the guy who was doing it, it was for the news. He was in Brazoria.
Brazoria, Texas, or county? Because the county is big.
No, like
I think he was in
city?
the town,
City.
yeah, talking about it. Like you know the whole thing where he's
It's
like,
a little
Oh,
close
man.
to home for Caleb.
you know the whole Anchorman thing where he's like, yeah, so blah 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 as he's walking
Yeah.
down the street. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Okay, I know
How do you
exactly
feel
where it's
about
So
at.
that?
now it's hitting home,
Yeah,
huh?
It's real.
Bailey was a very heavy drinker and loved to fight. He was actually known for it. And not fight in the sense that he always got mad at people. It was like he just liked to fight. Like he would walk up and like say some shit to you and be like, "Let's fight," and then shake your hand
Definitely,
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
As one should.
A gentleman's fight.
Austin was Stephen F. Austin was even reluctant to first accept Bailey into the colony because of his known reputation of drinking and fighting. Yeah. So you can see he lived a very whiskey and bloody filled life. He was proud of his home, and even in death wanted to watch it expand into the western horizon. That's why he wanted to be buried standing up, looking west.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to watch his home continue to grow. He also asked his gun be held over his shoulder and be buried with a jug of whiskey for him to have in the afterlife because he just loved the drink. That last part is very important and what a lot of people believe is the reason why his spirit still haunts Highway 35. You see, his descendants did everything he asked except bury him with the whiskey. The reason they didn't fulfill that last request was because of Bailey's wife. You see, his wife said he had had enough of that during his lifetime, and she threw it out on the prairie. She literally took the whiskey as they were going to throw it in there, and she just tossed it. She was like, nope, no, he ain't having that.
What a bitch.
And because his wife said he had enough whiskey in his lifetime, he didn't need to take it with him, so he wasn't buried with a jug of whiskey. There have been multiple accounts of seeing Bailey's ghost across the prairie, over 180 some odd years worth. Everyone always has the same story, too. It takes in the form of a mysterious light that floats across the prairie and darts up into the tops of the trees. Yes, 180 years worth of accounts. I watched a video of an old lady that was so old that literally her skin was like, she looked like a skeleton with skin. And she was talking
had
about
stories?
Yeah, she told.
She probably knew him.
The best part about that video is she's telling it to little kids.
Oh, no.
They're literally sitting there like, what? And she's like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she was a descendant of Bailey, actually.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
See,
The first known recordings of Bailey's ghost can be found in the book Victorian Lady on the Texas Frontier. It was by a family who says they saw Bailey himself, and this is the only account of seeing his full form.
And
like,
not an orb.
Yeah, not a light. It's like when they talk about the light, they say that it resembles a lantern's light. Those
Okay.
old the circle and it shines
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Every other sighting of is of the glowing light seen dancing across the prairie. Like I said. If you happen to be driving along the State Highway 35, don't be surprised if you see a lantern's light out in Bailey's Prairie and possibly crossing your path. Don't fret, though. It's just old man Bailey looking to quench his thirst with a jug of whiskey.
Dang.
Now, I have a couple of accounts. One was about a police officer. So he was doing his route along that highway. I guess that would be a state trooper, right? Not a police officer.
Oh, no.
And
Pigs.
You never know.
he was driving, along Bailey's Prairie, and he spots this light. And he's like, what the fuck is that? But the thing about it is it usually glows either green or orange, and it's like, it's not right. Like when you see it, you're like, there's nothing that could make that light. Yeah, exactly. And so when he saw that, he pulled over and he's like looking at it, and he radios in and he's like, hey, like I'm seeing this really weird orange light. It almost looks like fire. Like, and it's just there. It's not expanding or anything. Like he's telling the dispatcher this, and they're like, okay. And all of a sudden he starts to freak out. He's like, huh, it's coming towards me. Send somebody else out here. And so they send someone else out there. The other officer gets there. There's bullet holes in the side of the car, like in the side, like coming out the door on the passenger side, because they don't see him in the car at first, and they're like, what the fuck? And so they're kind of like looking around, like trying to find him or whatever, and they're like, they see, like, they would have seen him sitting in the car, you know, seen his top part of his body through the window. They didn't see that, so they're like slowly walking up to the car, and when they kind of peer in at first, they can just see the passenger seat, and they see his gun holster's empty. And they can see that there's bullet holes and that the window is shot, and there's bullet holes in the windows.
This man shot at a ghost.
Exactly. Like literally as they're you know, because they're kind of coming up and they can see, and then they all of a sudden they look down and they see him crouched as far down as he can.
Oh, so that
in
was
the driver's side, just with his pistol, and he's like, the fucking light charged at me. Like as soon as I got off the radio, he said the light came at him. And so he drew his weapon and he shot like a couple of times, and the light didn't even phase it, and it just goes over his car. Like that's another thing that they talk about, is it doesn't like go through anything. It physically goes up and over it.
Wow.
And then it went across the road, went up and over the fence, and then just continued on its merry way.
So to add a little validity to like the light, if it is like a lantern, like you were saying, where it's shining a beam of light, I don't know if any of you have been in a super dark area with an actual light shined at you. It's blinding, so you don't know if that is an assailant or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I understand, you know, if you are an officer.
For all he knows, that could have been like just a quiet motorcycle.
Yeah, just like driving towards him, because it sits at that height. It's like, you know, like if someone was holding a lantern, that's about the height that it sits.
Assuming that this officer is insane, he is in a sane condition, not insane. He's in a sane current state. He had to have felt something malicious in order to be like, I need to get my gun ready.
Right,
yeah. Like because he said that it
had to be moving at a malicious speed.
Yeah, malicious speed, intent, feeling.
It was just kind of sitting there, you know, swaying. And then as soon as he got off the radio, it was like, and it just like started coming at him. Yeah, I know you don't like that. Like,
I don't like that movement.
Yeah.
like the still movement and just
moving.
Yeah, and then it just went straight for him, and then it went over him. And there have been multiple people that call in, like they're just driving and there goes the light, like across the road, and they're like, what the fuck? There's pictures of it. Like you can look it up online. I'll find a picture and we can put it on the Instagram.
Okay.
Nice.
And then the other story that I thought it's kind of funny, is it was about that old lady with the bag of bones.
Yeah.
Talking about, and she was talking about her brother and her uncle, if I remember correctly. And this, you know, they're descendants of Bailey. So like essentially she tells the story of how one night they're like, you know, walking around and they see the light and they chase it down on horseback. They like literally like are going after it, and this light's like just going across the prairie and they're following it, and it went up a tree. And like back then, like this was, you know, they were riding on horseback. Back then, like, you know, this was like, they're like trying to figure out, they're like, well, the tree's not catching on fire. Like, what the fuck? Like, it literally just went up the tree, like scurried up the tree and disappeared.
That's so weird that it follows the shape and the contour of whatever it's next to.
It like literally, like, that's like, I know, right?
It's
that's
just a weird detail.
How it like will literally, like if it was going to travel across this table and up this jar, it would literally like
go up and over.
Yeah. And up and like it's like a solid object. It's so
Crazy.
strange. So, and people are like, it's aliens and all these other things, but I think it's Bailey's ghost. And there's no like maliciousness necessarily to him. Like it's more of just he wants his jug of whiskey. I almost want to go.
The man wants a drink.
Yeah, I want to go and get like an old
bury
jug.
him or put some whiskey out for him.
And just like set it on the side of the road, see if something happens.
Has anyone done that?
I don't know.
After 180 years, it had to have been done by some dumb group of teenagers.
Let's get this man a fucking pint of
Brazoria
Jack
ain't
Daniels.
that far away.
Dude,
not that far.
so
It's like
you
2 hours.
imagine
We
this
can
was
do
back
it.
in the 1800s. Imagine if we bought some really like delicate whiskey.
Oh my
Like
God.
he would lose his mind.
After we file
We
for
get 'em-
bankruptcy, that'd be so fun.
We get him a fourth of Jack Daniels and then we get him like one of the big plastic Kentucky Deluxe.
Oh, let's see which one he picks.
Yeah. See, he picks up the Jack Daniels. Oh, you're a man of taste, are you?
We gotta take the squeegee. Take the squeegee.
The squeegee.
And ask him which one he wants.
Yeah, Luigi board. What was your favorite?
Luigi board.
Corn or rye?
But yeah, I think it's a really interesting story, and it's like it's a known fact over there. Like people, that's
people, crazy. I've never
Bailey's
heard
Ghost,
of that.
like whatever.
So when I was there, I was 4th, 5th grade around there.
I'm surprised you didn't hear.
So
it.
yeah, no, I don't remember that.
We need to find that video of that lady telling those kids, those poor.
Definitely, yeah.
They're just like literally. She's just sitting around. She's older in dirt, just talking about, and she's a descendant, and she's just like reminiscing and all this stuff. And it's just, oh yeah, Bailey loved the sauce. You know what I mean? Like to kids, and they're just like, what?
Does it do anything for y'all two, for Kyle and Colby, if it is a police officer giving that account rather than just another person?
Yeah, because it's an authoritative figure.
An authoritative
yeah.
figure. Does that do it? Does that make it more scary, if you want to use that word? No.
It makes it more believable.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah.
Because I know that's a thing for a lot of people.
You believe the police?
Yeah. No, I feel like the fact of that, like he defended himself with a firearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he felt the need to draw weapons.
That whole part of a story, like it just wouldn't make a story.
And the fact that he fired too, it wasn't like a just a defense thing.
That's
he
the
shot
skepticism
at it.
I think leaking out there, because you're looking for the way for like, okay, they had to make it a police officer in order to make this a. That's what it sounds like.
I mean,
because you're like, okay, it has to be a police officer in order for the gun to fire. Like, the civilian might not be able to do that. I just think it's interesting. There's nothing wrong with thinking like that. I mean, it's an interesting take, I think.
To me, maybe for not every listener, but to me, it would make perfectly sense if it was a civilian.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect sense if it was a civilian, because it's Texas.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I'm strapped right now.
Jesus.
But yeah, no. I think if it was in a different state, like
maybe that believability would have been like, okay,
maybe
they're saying officer just to make me more spooked or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Man, that was a good one. That last little story about it got me pretty good.
Really? Good. Yeah. I'm glad. I was worried that it wasn't going to be that scary.
No, it definitely was a good one.
So first adventure. Just go
back to
go get some whiskey.
Man, I wonder if I
can
figure out.
It's 2 hours on the road.
I wonder if I can figure out the address and my house, and if that owner would let us back there.
You told me what?
Angleton.
Is it Angleton?
Yes, I told you. So it's down over there. I was right.
Okay. I don't know.
Man, that one's going to stick with me for a little bit, just because of how close to home that is.
Well, at least you know that it's not malicious by any means.
That man's just,
you don't know, though. What if you hand him the whiskey and then he
hates it, he slaps it out of your hand.
He tries to fight you. He said he'd like to fight.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Throw hands.
He was aggressive in his
That's what I said.
Life,
like, Kentucky Deluxe is worth squabbling over.
Oh, okay.
We're squabbling. He is a squabbler.
We're talking a jug that you could get for like $20. Like
a handle, if you will.
No, like more than
a handle.
Oh man. Okay. But all right. So now it's your turn, huh?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I want to hear this.
What's
this
it called?
One, we're all ready for it.
I'm ready.
Okay. Nobody lives here but you.
Oh fuck.
About a year and a half ago, I moved into a new apartment downtown. Hands down, the most upscale place I've lived in. Rooftop access, a fitness center, a pool, huge windows, beautiful views of the city. This place had it all. My leasing agent said apartments in that building were going fast, and when I found one on the 11th floor, my price range, I signed a year-long lease immediately. And the building was wonderful at first. I thought it was strange. The very beginning, I never really seemed to see anybody taking advantage of the amazing amenities. There was never anyone at the pool or on the roof or in the fitness center. I didn't mind, of course. This meant more of these amenities to myself. I joked with my friends that I was starting to think that no one lived in the building with me. While I enjoyed what seemed like private access to the great things in my building, but still, after a few weeks, it went from slightly weird to definitely unnerving. There was never anyone in the hallways, in the lobby. This building is huge, 12 floors, probably hundreds of people. Yet I never saw anyone. Just the doorman that worked at the lobby of the building. After a few weeks, I talked to the night doorman and the lack of people, and how strange it all seemed. The doorman chuckled and he said, well, nobody lives here but you. He said, what? I asked, unnerved. He laughed again. I'm kidding. Of course, there's other people that live here, but the building's almost full completely. Then why don't I ever see anyone? Who knows? Maybe you're always walking around during the quieter hours. I guess, I said. The building has to be less full than he implied, maybe to drive the prices up. Either way, it seemed like something shady was going on, but I tried to ignore that all, and enjoyed talking to my friends for an uninterrupted swim or a private evening stargazing on the roof. Everything started to feel normal again, and started to feel lucky that I had all these things to myself, but that feeling didn't last for too long. One night, my friend Brian came over for drinks.
Fucking Brian.
When I opened the door, I was shocked. I'd never seen him this way before. All the color had drained from his face and visibly shaking. What's wrong? I asked.
Sorry.
The number. Your apartment, I got it wrong. I got your apartment number wrong. I went to the 10th floor instead of the 11th, and I went to 10:30, not 11:30. I went to 10:30, he sputtered. What, Brian? It's fine. I don't care. You went to the wrong floor. You went to the wrong room. I'm on the 11th. Now you know. He grabbed my arm. He said, no, you don't understand. Someone lives in 1030. She looked exactly like you.
She?
What?
From the female perspective, this story is being told. She looked exactly like you. I laughed. Well, maybe I have a secret twin. Awesome. No. She looked exactly like you. I can't tell you how much and she sounded like you. We were talking and I thought it was you. I walked into her apartment. She was talking to me like she knew me. I started looking around the apartment. Everything was different. Everything was out of place. Everything was stranger. I don't know. I can't describe it. She just looked like you. Exactly like you. I got chills. You thought she looked like me enough to go into her apartment and talk to her? And she talked to me like she knew me. And it wasn't until I looked down at my phone and saw that you texted 11:30 and not 10:30. Jesus. I just bolted out of the door. I didn't go back. I ran up a flight of stairs to get here and...
God damn it.
She looked like you. She sounded like you. And she's not... She's right below us right now. I think maybe we should go down there. Are you insane? I'm not going down there. You shouldn't go down there either. I think we need to, Brian. I have an ad right in the middle of my screen.
Let's do that.
Give me a second here.
You need to copy and paste and put in your notes. That's what I do.
It's literally covering my text.
Refresh the page.
Yeah, I'm going to refresh.
You got me with the footsteps.
Yeah,
They
you
got
did.
me too, man. Okay.
Should we take it from there?
I'll repeat the last little conversation.
Do the footsteps.
Oh, I don't know where that was at.
We need to go down there.
Yeah, I think maybe we should go down there. Are you insane? I'm not going down there. You shouldn't go down there either. I think we need to, Brian. I don't want to go down there, and I want to stop talking about this. The rest of the evening, I kept trying to steer the conversation back in that direction, but Brian refused. Even after a drink or two, he hadn't calmed down. He ended up leaving early, very shaken up. As he left, though, the lobby of the building, he turned back to me, he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, don't go down to 10:30. I know you're curious, but don't go down there. Don't do it. Despite his dire warning, I had to know. I had to. I got back in the elevator and pressed the button for the 11th floor. As the 11th floor slowly passed the 8th, I pressed the large illuminated 10. And the elevator creaked to a stop on the 10th floor. As I got out of the elevator, I already felt the air shift. It was much colder on this floor, much darker, but otherwise it was almost identical to the 11th floor. I walked the route I'd taken so many times to my own door, only on this odd, darkened floor, it felt like a copy of a copy of a copy. The similarities were there, but it was murkier, blurrier, distorted. I arrived at room 1030. Suddenly got a distinct feeling that I knew I shouldn't knock. I knew I shouldn't. I knew it was a bad idea. I knocked. I heard footsteps approach the door, and a hand starting to turn the handle, and then what I can only assume was another person behind the door look at me through the peephole. The handle stopped turning. I heard the sound of the door locking, deadbolting, footsteps moving quickly away in the other direction. I knocked again. Nothing. Whatever was in there was willing to open the door until it saw me. I took the stairs back up to the 11th floor. I would try again tomorrow. The next evening, I walked back down. The lights in the hallway flickered. It felt like the floor was getting darker by the second. I knocked on 1030's door. The same exact thing happened. Footsteps approached. Handle started to turn, then immediately stopped. The door was locked. I started knocking louder. "Excuse me," I said. "Can I speak to you for a minute? I just want to talk to you. Hey, open the door." There was a full minute of silence. The footsteps approached the door again. In a loud, clear voice, identical to how recordings of my own voice sounded, spoke these words. "Nobody lives here but you."
What?
The figure, whoever it was, whatever it was, retreated from the door. I walked back to my apartment, probably looking as shaken up as Brian did the night he left. I knew I had to find out who lived in that apartment. I took the elevator downstairs and walked to the night doorman. Too frantic for pleasantries, I asked him, who lives in 1030? He paused for a second. I thought you did. "I'm in 1130. Who's in 1030? "I thought it was you." "Can you look up who lives there? I need to know their name." "Sorry, ma'am. I can't do that. It's a breach of privacy. I can't do that." "I need to know who lives there." "There's nothing I can do." I went back to my apartment. I had to form some kind of plan, some way to figure out who lived in that apartment. That night, I dreamed. I was walking down the 10th floor hallway. Every door wide open, exposing the skeletal emptiness of the building. No furnishing, nothing. Empty. Every door except 1030. I tried the handle. Locked. I lowered myself down to the ground, trying to look through the crack between the door and the floor. Focused in on the inside of the apartment, I woke up, screaming. I had to call in sick that morning. I had to know. It was eating me alive. I had to know who lived in 1030. I sat in the hallway just outside the view of the peephole of 1030's door. I was off of work anyways. This is how I would spend my day. They had to come out sometime. It got later and later and later, past midnight. They hadn't left or returned all day. They had to soon, right? They had to. Night crashed into morning. Morning became afternoon. Afternoon became night. And before I knew it, 48 hours had passed. I hadn't eaten.
What?
I hadn't slept. I don't know what to do. When I realized I had been there for 2 full days, something inside of me snapped. I stalked up to 1030's door and started banging endlessly with my fist. "Let me in, let me in, let me in." "I'm not going to leave until you open the door. Open this door or I'm not going to leave. Open this door right now." This continued until my fists were red and raw, but I kept knocking until my hands scraped down to the bone if I had to. I had to know. After about 15 minutes of this, I heard footsteps approach the door. One lock clicked. The other clicked open. The door slowly opened, revealing a man in his 70s or 80s. "What are you doing? You trying to break into my home?" "The woman. Who is the woman that lives here?" "Woman? There's a woman who lives here. She looks exactly like me. My friend mistook her for me, and she sounds like me and looks like me. I heard it with my own voice. She spoke to me. Through the door, she spoke to me. Where is that woman who lives here?" "I live alone. I haven't had a woman in this apartment for 2 years. There's no woman in this apartment."
That poor man.
"There was 3 days ago. My friend saw her. I heard her. Who is she?" "I'm sorry. I don't know who you're talking about. Nobody lives here. Nobody lives here but me." Nobody lives there but him. I had no choice but to go back to my own apartment. I kept my eyes on the 10th floor for months. I confirmed with Brian a million times. It was the apartment 1030. It was the apartment 1030. He ran up the stairs, One flight from apartment 1030. She had to be right below me. She had to be. I tried to forget about apartment 1030. I tried to imagine I'd never been there. After a while, the thoughts became less and less frequent. Then they disappeared. Altogether. Even when I'd look at 10 on the button of the elevator, I wasn't filled up with pure liquid dread that I was months before. It was a misunderstanding, just a misunderstanding. One night, my friend Chelsea came to my door. As we were going to spend a little time in my apartment before we went out on the town, she was pale, shaking. Your apartment? I had the wrong apartment. I went to the wrong apartment. This woman, she my stomach dropped. She looked like you. She sounded like you. She was talking to me like she knew me. She invited me in, and I thought it was you until I looked at the number, and it wasn't yours. I realized that you were in 11:30, and you went to 10:30. Memories of the dread bubbling back up. 10:30? 10:30? No, I went to 12:30.
Oh, what the fuck? Wait,
Wait,
so it just
Gonna keep
switched?
going.
It just switched, like every time, like when she kind of caught on.
He said
There's one on
11:30 the
every
first time.
level, is what I gathered.
Oh, the same person.
There's a copy of that person on every level.
And they're experiencing the same event. Oh, that's fucked, dude.
that got me really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Okay, so story aside, that was great.
Yeah.
I saw a fucking shadow over there. Like not even fucking 5 minutes ago.
What kind of shadow?
Like legit, I was watching our monitor
Uh-huh.
because I'm switching back and forth here, and like I'm dead ass at the monitor, and I see in my periphery just darkness over Josh's head. Like,
Why has it got to be my head?
no, like past you, but
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, I miss the days where this room used to be a fun place.
We
Back
gotta
in-
practice that.
that's why you saw me looking over there.
I noticed it too, but I thought maybe a car had pulled in or
No,
something through
like-
the window.
I thought he was just trying to fuck with me. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so this is a story that I read while I was at work, and man, it got me when I was there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got me pretty good.
Because you hate doppelgangers.
Yeah, doppelgangers are like one of my biggest things.
Yeah.
Doppelgangers and like
Fuck
mirrors
that.
are like my two things that I don't like.
Like mirrors and you don't like
The mirror, so there's just the idea of that mirror it's not your reflection, it's another universe.
Like, have you seen Us?
Yes. Yeah, I don't
That's
like
right
that
up
movie.
your alley.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, that movie's creepy as shit.
Yeah, it is. Man, that story got me again, telling it.
Yeah,
All
no.
right, so we've gone through all the stories. We have a story from the Spectre community. Do you guys want me to read that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
You do you, boo boo.
So one cool thing about this story is she also drew a picture.
Ooh.
Oh.
So we'll definitely put that up on the
Start
Instagram.
Over. Start over.
Yeah, that's a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Can we turn the lights on?
No, we cannot turn the lights on. Jeez. So you know what's gonna happen? Every time we switch over and the camera's messed up, I'm gonna put a "please stand by" or a "technical difficulties" right there because I think it'd be really funny. So this is from so for those of you who don't know, I am a part of a esports org called Spectre Esports, and this is a fellow Spectre member. Her name is Small Panda.
Small panda.
And this is the message she sent me.
Like small panda?
Small,
Like
like
SMOL?
SMOL, small.
Perfect name.
Small
I
panda.
love it.
Small panda. So you want an interesting experience with paranormal? I got one for you. All right, that's a strong start. When I was about 6, I had a dream about a house. It looked like a normal one-story house. There was myself and 3 other children, and we all went into the house through the garage. The garage was empty. There were no adults to be found. The door we go through led into a large living room area with a hallway at the end that led 2 ways. So essentially it T'd. It was a hallway that led to a T. There was a small wall table in the hallway that we could see. Essentially the hallway led to a T, and at the end of that, where the T was at, there was a small table. The house was very dark, so we could barely see what was on the table. In the middle of the little table was a vase with what looked like to be a face. I remember looking at the vase and then touching it, and something dark flew out of it at me and enveloped me, and I woke up screaming. My parents were terrified because a 6-year-old let out a blood-curdling scream in the middle of the night. So that's the first account. Fast forward to my first year of college, 2010. I'm in my dorm room with my roommate when I have the same dream, but this time we're all grown up versions of the children. We go through the same motions of entering the house, through the garage, into the living room area. This time it has peeling wallpaper and tons of spiderwebs, like time had passed. The small table was still in the dark hallway. I go back over to it and touch it again. Apparently, I didn't learn my lesson the first time. And again, the dark thing flew out and enveloped me again, and I woke up screaming and crying because I felt that the other 3 children were dead. She just had an overwhelming feeling that they had died. Now, in my dorm room, I had a heavy oak bookshelf with a ton of books and stuff on it. Well, when I woke up screaming and crying, it completely fell over. So she woke up freaking out, and then her bookshelf in real life toppled over, and it was a giant one of those. It should not have fallen over, essentially. She said, needless to say, my roommate left after that.
Oh God!
Like she was like,
yeah,
useless.
No, smart move.
And that's the story. I have attached a drawing of what the vase looked like, or as much as I could remember. So she wrote this out and then drew a picture specifically for this, and we'll put the picture on Instagram. I mean, I can kind of I can click on it and show it like here if you guys want to look at it.
Well, yeah, but we'll look at it.
Oh.
So she says that vase had like a face, like it had like it was shaped like a face. And then when she went to touch it, the black you can see the black cloud like flew up out of the vase and enveloped her and wrapped around her.
Dude, that legit looks like a kid's drawing in a scary movie.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Even like the paper color, it's like kind of yellow.
Yeah. It's just the scribbling.
Yo, tattoo idea?
It's scary, yeah. I would like to know from her, Small Panda, right?
Yeah, Small Panda.
Small Panda.
How like detailed was this? Like, was it a full on? Like, was it a bust? Almost exactly to the
like
T
where
of a
it
face?
really looked like a face, or was it this like just like this ominous black eye?
Yeah, like did it have the
mouth?
silhouette of it?
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, Small Panda. If and when you hear this, please comment and let us know. Give us an answer to that.
Definitely. And then again, Small Panda, thank you for the story.
Yes, thank you
so much. That
so
was very
much.
good. Did she write all that in its entirety? Did you edit any of that?
No, she wrote all of that.
You have a career in story.
Well, I mean, I guess because it really happened to her,
yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. Yeah, no, that it was well written too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, she sent me this whole thing.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
The first fan story.
Yeah, that was the very first fan story. I do have a running story of my own if you guys want to know about that.
Oh, okay.
The running story?
The running story.
That's up to you if you want to share it right now. Is this
Okay,
the running themed episode?
Yes, yeah. So really what really started getting me was, you remember that house that had all the paranormal activity that happened to it? You fucking guy, you. So where I grew up, there was this old house out in the middle of nowhere that it was like an old farmhouse, and essentially throughout the years it was originally a home, and then back in the 40s it was actually a school for little kids to go and learn English, German kids to go learn English. And then after that it became a home again, and then it was abandoned, from what I understand. That's the information that I've gathered from this. Well, anyway, it started circling around that this place was haunted. And so, me being a curious teenager with all of my friends and thinking that would be a good thing to do, we decided to go find this place, and we found it. And it's like kind of like you drive and you'll see this mailbox. It's all dilapidated. You turn on that driveway, you open a gate, drive down a little ways into like and like it's in trees essentially. Mm-hmm. And there's this house. So we've been there multiple times, and the way the house was shaped was really interesting. It was almost like an L. So you like have the front of the house, front porch, and then when you walk in, there's like house, and literally across from the front door, there's another door that goes outside, and it goes onto the back porch, and it has a whole like back porch that goes on the inside L-shaped part. Gotcha. And it's completely fenced around. So it makes a square, but it only takes up, like a L-shaped part of the square. So we had a lot of experiences there. One of the times that we went, it had an attic. We went up into the attic. There was a vulture up there, a full-grown vulture that fucking spread its wings and
So
spit nasty shit at me
I
and
got
like all
vulture
kinds of stuff.
stories, by the way.
Let's do just the footstep because I want that to be like a reoccurring thing that if something comes up, we go and visit the house again.
Okay, that's fine. All right, cool.
That
All
way
right.
you're streamlined too.
All right.
I'm dialed in with the footsteps tonight.
All right. So one time when we went to this house, it was full of creepy shit, multiple accounts of different things happening. So we walked into, I described how the house was. We walk into the front door, and it's me and 4 other people, and I'm the first one. So as I'm walking, like I said, there was a door that went across the room and went outside. And the way the L was, it was not a long way this way and then that way. It was pretty short. So you could still kind of see where the L was. Well, as I'm walking, I went to shine my light like this, and before I could reach the other doorway, which was open to the outside, I could see a black figure sprinting towards me. Exactly, like literally just
Footsteps and all. It had weight to
and
it. Yeah.
it was
Insane.
so like it makes me like so like yeah, I know I say that a lot. It was so like fast and just coming at me that I literally jumped I jumped to the side to my right and smacked up against the wall, and I didn't feel anything run past me. I was getting out of the way, and everyone else was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like they thought I was falling through the floor because it was a dilapidated house and all this stuff. But that was so surreal, and it wasn't even the. It makes me uncomfortable. Like I'm so uncomfortable. It wasn't even the black figure, more so than the sound. The sound was so predominant. I could feel the vibration in my feet. When you feel someone walking around.
That's so weird. Okay, so this is a whole thing where it's like whenever this something like that, something drastic, at least to you, happens, the world drops out. And you're just
focused,
just this thing. I only have one story like that, and it's not gonna. It doesn't pertain to anything tonight, so I'll save it.
Okay.
But that one got me like I know that feeling, that feeling of just like dread, just like oh my god.
Yeah, it's just it was so intense, and I can remember it. I could literally close my eyes and remember every aspect of that to this day. I will never forget that.
Gotcha. I do have one tiny footstep story that I remember. It's not anything like scary like that. That house in Brazoria.
Oh yeah.
So the downstairs, everyone could hear it every night. Almost like I don't think there was a night that it missed, where footsteps were heard. And so the way that it's set up is we had this like my room, which had like a TV against the wall. My bed looking at face towards the TV, and it wasn't really a room. It was more of like a living area, but this house was big.
Yeah.
And off to the left of the TV, there's a staircase that goes kind of like that L, like you up one little 3 flights, little flat plane, and then you go up the 12.
It kind of turns like an
and
island.
then it goes up, and then you have a full open second floor, completely open.
Okay.
Damn, so you telling me you had a 90-degree staircase?
We had a 90-degree staircase.
Damn.
We living like that.
That's
big
living large,
money.
bro.
So that's a whole nother thing is that I believe we got the house not cheap. We did at the time we were doing good financially, and it was cheaper than I think it should have been. You know
Probably
what I mean? So here, anyways, the footsteps were directly above the room where I was at, but you could hear them throughout. So the way you go up the stairs, it opens up. There's a little mini bar thing that's right in front of you. You go left, just a big open area. There's pull-out beds from the wall. I forget, Johnson beds, I think is what they're called, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then to the right, same thing, splits, mirrored.
Okay.
The little bar is where the footsteps were constantly. So as soon as you were to walk up, it's just pacing.
So,
all
kind
night.
of like that, or more of like
It was literally like a
slower. So like one
So
of
they-
these-
it was
one
like-
of these.
Yeah, but it wasn't, we have the reverby stuff. It was it was a dry it was almost like
It's
that.
like a thump, just doom, doom. And you could hear when it would get further away. Yeah.
And that's what my immediate thing was that it was like pipes or something like that. But I mean, yeah, the directional thing is what's like
And it
weird
was
about
every
it.
night.
Yeah, I think,
And it was right in front of the bar.
Specific time or what?
Yeah, I wonder.
No, like even in the day, you could hear it if you just got quiet. Because in the daytime, cars are moving, everything's louder.
Yeah.
Right now, if we were to be completely silent, we'd hear creaks and stuff throughout the house. That's just how it is.
So I wonder if was that bar there when you got the house?
Yes.
What if it was like they're waiting for a fucking drink? Like it was like
Similar thing.
Yeah.
Dang. What if it's that dude?
Yo.
Right?
Who
It was
lives in that
Bailey.
house?
He was
Bailey.
like, "Yo, this place got a
Bailey.
bar."
It's got a bar.
Yo.
Damn.
Full circle.
Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, but that's my footsteps story, the one that I can recall.
So you would say that's a residual thing?
As in what? What do you mean by that?
So residual is like
Leftover.
no, it's a haunting that it basically is trapped in a loop. It does the same thing over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
'Cause
so.
it was
Like
in the
I
same
can't
area.
explain. Yeah, it's
Like
literally around the bar.
Like on Ghost Hunters, they found that there's a lot of activity on the stairs,
Uh-huh.
so they put the instruments.
Bro.
along
It
each-
just went out. It ran out of wicks.
I know,
Stop
but that
it,
was
Josh.
so abrupt. Fuck me, dude.
like they.
He said it went out, and then it went.
They put
For the listeners, candle went
instruments-
out.
They
Yeah.
put the instruments on each step,
Okay.
and then they all felt vibration in sequential order.
Oh, I remember
And
that.
so they
yeah.
remember. So they chalked it
Oh.
up to that he
He had a path.
he had a path.
Wow.
And that explains why, because the owners always heard people going up and down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember that because it was like a big brain move. He was like, you know
Yeah.
what? And he started like putting all this
Oh,
shit
really?
in there, and it worked.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, he even was like, yes, it fucking worked.
So those are. I'd say yours for me is scarier because for mine it was a lot of things about that house. I don't know if it was the time, if it was we were going through, but a lot of it was dulled. Like I remember it, but it wasn't like a super sharp, vivid memory. But it was just like it was just thing. It just happened, And we were talking about this with a coworker at work today. How like if you're involved in that so often, it's just
Yeah.
you become jaded.
Yeah, it's like
not as
you,
scary.
you just accept it, and it's a part of your life.
I'll give you a little tidbit of his stories, which we'll make that we're gonna make it a full story. We're gonna take
Of
all
the
his-
coworkers?
yeah,
Okay.
his name is Marcus.
Hi, Marcus.
Hi, Marcus.
And little thing about footsteps is one time he heard. So basically, there's a long hallway that between all of the smokers that they smoke the meat in,
Uh-huh.
and it looks to me, it gave me like hospital vibes, like
Ugh.
white walls,
Yeah.
just creepy. And he said he was there by himself. 0 people,
Coworker
Hit-
had to leave early because he
coworker had
was
to
sick.
leave early. His car was the only one in the parking lot,
Oh.
and this plant is far from other things.
Yeah.
You can tell when other people are around. And he even called and made sure he was the only one in there. He hears feet dragging, kind of like when a person is just tired
shuffling?
or
Exactly, yeah.
like that, down the hallway, coming towards him. Looks down the hallway, nothing there, obviously.
And he
Goes-
even has a coworker that walks like that, and he was like, "What is this dude doing here at work right
Right?
now?"
Yeah. I forgot about that. He was like, "Oh, that's Chris."
Yeah, whoever it was. Yeah,
Man, Chris, man.
Because Chris walked like that. Like, what the fuck is Chris doing here? And yeah, no. He hears it, checks, goes back to work, hears it again. I think he said he heard it a good 3 or 4 times.
And it was was it just one shuffle, or was
Yeah.
it like
no,
somebody
somebody walking
No, somebody
15, 20
slowly
feet. Yeah,
walking, shoo.
So we'd have to show you the video, and hopefully we figure out a way to get this all to go. But the video, it literally is a hallway that is longer, probably 3 of these rooms lengthwise.
Yeah.
And it's just a straight walk.
Straight.
And he's
you know,
in one of the
hotel
rooms.
hallways kind of
Exactly.
look
Yeah.
like that, but
All concrete.
all concrete, all white.
Yeah. And they're wearing these
Super terrifying.
all health suits with the hair nets and all white lab coat looking things.
Yeah.
It's a smokehouse if you haven't gathered.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if we've stated that, but yeah, it's a smokehouse in Schulenburg, Texas.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
if
we'll-
we could, dude,
In
I would
Schulenburg?
love to be able to put that on the
We
socials.
plan to get him to either do a video or
Yeah,
Maybe-
as long as it's
maybe
okay
even
with the
have him-
location, you know.
Maybe
Yeah.
even have him come be a guest.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah,
if we
totally.
can figure it out.
Totally.
Kyle, any footstep stories?
I do, but it could just been justified as an animal because you know my parents' house. We live on 4 acres of. Well, my parents live on 4 acres of woods.
Yeah.
Pause. I keep seeing shit like in the dark, and it's freaking me out.
I have yet to have anything catch my eye.
I think it's these fucking hairs.
I'm not seeing any
Like,
What
hairs.
hairs are you talking about?
There's hairs floating through
He's
the
got
air.
all the lights looking right at him.
Yeah, no, like
I think
I'm
it's the
getting-
lights fucking with you.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
getting everything illuminated, so anytime a hair comes through, it looks like it's something floating, like
Like in
over
your
there.
peripheral.
Yeah.
It's fucking me up right now. Right?
Okay, let's get this. You're on 4 acres of land. It's all
Yeah.
But
brush. thick.
I'm sleeping in my room and my bed's kind of next to my window, but there's also an AC unit outside. So when that thing goes off, it's like an explosion in my fucking room.
Oh yeah, I've been in there when it does it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember this shit.
I think we
But-
all know that sound.
Yeah.
But this is late at night. It's probably in the AMs at this point, and I hear, there's trees outside here. There's leaves on the ground here. Someone stepping on leaves.
Yeah.
We had dogs,
Like
but
that?
a little less reverb.
Gotcha.
But I remember being so scared. I was like, all right, it's probably just deers. I live out in the woods.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for deers to be. Because
Yeah.
I walk outside and in the grass in the front yard, you'll see little hoof prints.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, it's just
Especially
deers.
in that area where there's so many, like you go 2 miles down the road and there's cars everywhere. Like they're gonna become eventually like oh, that's a car, that's a person.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get like scared at the slightest little thing
Yeah.
every single
Then-
time.
I heard it in the hallway.
What?
What?
Pretty sure I heard it in the hallway.
You gotta elaborate on that. What?
After a while,
But you said you were at home?
I was at home and sleeping in my bed. I was a little child. I heard it outside first, and then I swear I started hearing it in the kitchen.
Yo.
But the thing is,
You have pets?
we didn't have any inside cats though.
Not at the time. No.
No, we've never had any.
Yeah,
The only inside cat we had.
Mittens.
Describe the footsteps.
So was it like a pause and then it was in the other room, or was it like it fucking went from outside straight through the wall?
No,
through
it
the
sounded like
fucking-
someone was got up for a midnight snack. But
Yeah.
you know how acousticy my house is. You
Yeah.
can hear a conversation from across the house.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just like my dad. Also, my dad, record driver, get phone call at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I thought it was just him, but he was home.
Yeah,
sleeping.
that is crazy. So
Yeah.
okay, the thing that would get me, the thing that would get me the most is, can you recall if the outside footsteps were the same cadence?
Yeah,
Were they
like,
walking at the same pace?
Walking at the same
Uh-huh.
pace.
As same thing inside?
Oh yeah.
Hey, in
fuck
the
that,
in the
dude.
in the
I
weird
don't like
part,
that.
the weird part, my parents are the first owners of this home. They built this house.
Yeah. So you
I mean,
built
So
on
so
something.
there's nobody's died there.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's-
you built on something.
But see, no, that's
That
the
you
thing.
know of?
That's the thing that
But
like
we
a lot
had
of
to
people
clear
talk
woods,
about.
though.
Yeah.
They built the house, the land. My dad bought it way back, right after I was born. Actually, he bought it like 3-4 days after I was born. It was all woods. You couldn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. My parents bought our property after I was born.
Cool. Yeah. That's my story. No, but he had to clear everything. So with it being built over something, I don't think that's the case
Yeah,
because there's a
and
bunch
then-
of trees everywhere.
Well, there's that concept that a lot of people say is that
It's the
there's not a
trees.
foot of land that something hasn't
Yeah,
died on.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's
But-
like
Yeah.
So even to further Kyle's point is that just to get to his house, you're already, so you have the highway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you have a side road that is long,
It's
About
back.
a
and then you
quarter
go
mile
down
a road.
It's
a
back
dirt road,
there.
yeah.
and then you go down that dirt road for like what, 3 minutes, 2
about,
minutes?
About a quarter.
It's
mile.
in the
Well, maybe the
boonies.
way you drive,
Yeah, about a quarter mile.
but it's way back there.
Like GPS will only lead you to where the pavement is.
Exactly.
exactly.
So,
There's
so
all
the
mailboxes there.
thing, the idea of a person being out there is way worse to me. If there's a person like sneaking around in, but
I do have another story about someone coming onto our property. This isn't scary. It's more for comedic
That person's
relief.
still alive.
They shit their pants. This one's more for comedic relief. Apparently, there's like a
Gotcha.
party going. I've told y'all this before.
Yeah.
There was a party. Maybe not you.
I remember this
Not
one.
me.
But I think there was a party going on or something, and it was about 2 a.m. and someone pulled in our driveway
Oh.
and shot. And when you pull into that
faces into the house.
when you pull into the far side of the driveway, the lights shine right on my parents' windows to their bedroom. And they stayed there for a minute. And my dad, you all met my dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good old Mike.
This man, in his tidy whities, we're in Texas. We have ARs just laying around. He grabbed his gun.
We got ARs in the bathroom.
Yeah. He grabbed his gun, ran out, walked out to the front door. No warning shot. The warning shot was a 30-round mag into the
Yeah.
into the patch of grass in front of our house.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot at them. He shot right in front of them. But boy,
Oh yeah.
they scurried the fuck out of us.
Yeah.
Because
That's
first off, we're out
crazy.
in the country.
Man, come out in this tiny white.
Like we're not out in Linwood
Yeah.
or in
Other
Fresh
places,
Alf or
yeah.
something. Like,
yeah.
My neighbor is a good 9-10 trees away from the
Well,
house.
9 to, that's how we measure things out there. Is
The
by
thing is,
the trees.
the point is we can't see our neighbor's house.
He's
Yeah,
about
yeah,
a good
exactly.
5 pecan trees down.
like between every house, there's a little patch of woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh man.
it's easy to mistake houses, but it's after you see if you're going to a party and there's nobody here, all the lights are off, you're at the wrong fucking house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a 45-year-old man in
Yeah,
his
dude
whitey
with
tidy
his
shooting
gun
at you.
coming
Yeah,
at you.
you definitely got the wrong place.
Yeah.
I
Man.
can imagine all of that. That's terrifying.
Yeah. So it looks like we're coming up on about a minute 45. Do we want to do a couple of these to
Yeah,
wrap
let's
up the
do
show?
let's draw for
Hour 45.
Huh?
An hour
Oh, an hour
45.
a
45.
minute.
my
We're
bad.
coming up about a minute 4. This is the fastest with quick draw on the
Damn.
draws.
Moving quick.
Did we
All
go
right, so Kyle drew
in our
right?
time portal?
Last time?
What the?
That's
No,
fine.
no, you don't draw. It's your turn.
Is it my turn? Are we doing different ones like that?
I thought that's what we were doing. I
I don't know.
I'll
That's
find
how
it.
we did it. Kyle, you went last time apparently.
I did. Okay.
Did you press that?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
was like, what the fuck? And then
Okay.
another one is gonna be which one is yours? Is yours the instant short story?
Do we want to
let's make it-
decide
Yeah, let's make the first one is what we tell now.
what we talk about? Okay, so
Okay.
give me a minute. We'll talk about it. Then we'll crack open that one.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh man. Wax.
God, I
wax
just
too
imagine
good.
this going off by itself.
I know.
Fuck
Okay,
that.
so this is one that I was interested in because I haven't exactly had too many experience with this. Like I can't recall any. The loss of time,
Oh,
just completely losing hours
We
or
talked
like
about this.
yeah.
A couple days ago.
Now this could be a visit back to your house,
my house.
not your house, but the house.
the
Oh,
burning
the
If
house.
you want to tell that one again, but,
Okay,
but
okay.
if not, we can skip it.
No, it's fine.
it
So
could be-
I will say what he's about to say, probably one of the creepiest, like just things that chill me to the core is this.
Really?
Yes, I told you this.
Is it? Wait, what is this?
Okay, so
because
here's the story.
I'm a very factual person.
Yeah.
I need the facts.
and there's no
and
facts to this.
I believe
it's hard
in,
to explain.
I believe in science to an extent.
Yeah.
And so whenever it defies the laws of science and time and just the way the world works, it's fucking scary.
I hope Danny, if you ever hear this,
Shout out
Please.
to Danny.
Shout out Danny. I don't know you,
Danny.
man. but-
Yeah, Danny.
please
Danny?
please comment on this episode
Text
so that
Josh.
you can or message me
Right now.
whatever.
Not live.
So
if you text him right now, something's wrong.
so Danny was one of the people that I would go there all the
Something's
time.
very
with.
wrong.
But
Danny's dead.
don't say don't speak that into fruition. Yeah, so
Very wrong.
we used to go there all the time. Like, I mean, when I say multiple accounts of things happening, it was a lot. And I mean, it was like a weekend thing. That was our thing to do because we're fucking weird.
yeah,
And
trust me, I get it.
so there was one like 2-week period where we didn't go. And I explained how the house was, right? You know, where it's like this and there was a front porch that you walked up into the thing, right? We had been there 2 weeks prior. So we were like, hey, we haven't been there in a while. Let's go. So we go and we drive up. One, it was weird because the mailbox and stuff was hard to see. Like it was covered. It was in grass that was like, up to here on me.
Too tall.
Too tall. Then, so we find the driveway. We drive down the driveway. We get there and we pull up. And we're looking at it. We're like, where the fuck is the house?
Oh.
Where's the house? And we see the little shed and shit. And literally we're like, what the fuck? And Danny's like, he don't give a shit. He fucking backs up, drives into the yard.
Oh,
What we presumed was the yard. Pulls up and shines his brights where the house should be. The house is there. But there was fucking trees with fucking shit this thick covering the entire front of the house. There's no way
not in 2 weeks
that shit could grow that
2
fast.
weeks.
We had just been there, and it was. I mean, there was shit kind of growed up, but it wasn't where you couldn't see the house, where you couldn't walk onto the porch. We had to cut shit down to go in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Look
So
at
how
you
many,
keeping up with the plays, man.
how many times beforehand have y'all been there from this point?
That was actually one of the last times because we were like, "That's fucked up."
So my thought process was like, okay, maybe they just like somehow group psychosis missed it. Like they just like
No,
they didn't
dude,
notice
it was
one of the early trips or something.
It's one of those things that just doesn't make sense.
So follow-up question. Go ahead.
What fucks me up more is that y'all went inside after figuring this out.
Did you notice immediately? Well, I mean,
like when we pulled up, because we always pulled up parked in the same spot. Like it was because we had done it so many times, and when you couldn't see it, you couldn't see the house, the fucking windmill. That's another story. You couldn't see that. Like there was like all these like aspects that were just different, and we were like, what the fuck? And then when he was like it literally got to the point where Danny was like, oh fuck that, and he just turned and pulled into the thing, and literally we were looking at it.
So let me ask: did the rest of the people with
see
you
this?
like no? Did they like seem phased?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, like
'Cause
this
those-
is fucking
How did
weird.
this
That's what I'm
happen?
saying, Danny. If you
the
ever
way you're
hear
saying
this,
it
bro.
sounds like Danny was just like, well, it's just shrubbery.
No,
We gotta go in.
No, the
around
fuck
these
it part.
parts.
The fuck it part was him pulling up and like driving in the yard because he couldn't believe what he was seeing, and he had to get light on it, like big beams of light on it.
So this was one of your last visits there. How many times did you go after, and was it continuous? Like, was it still covered for every other trip? It had to have been, because if not, that would freak me out even more.
No, yeah,
if
it was
went
still
back.
covered. No, well,
Unless
actually, I don't think so.
Y'all didn't go back after
No,
that?
I don't think it was.
you don't think it was
still
covered on the last trips?
because the last one was when we did the Ouija board,
Oh
and
my
it
god!
was not there.
Excuse me, sir.
Why did you? I never thought of that.
I remember,
and that makes that fucking even more
remember
creepier.
asking you that same question the time you told me,
That's insane.
and you were like, "Oh shit."
Bro.
Whew, okay.
All right, well now you just brought to light some shit.
Okay. Well, before we move on to the next
Okay,
thing,
give us a time span.
Like from when we first started going.
First started going there to the moment
I would say
the
a
shrubbery
solid like
appeared.
half a year to a year that we were going there.
one more thing: was this house in disrepair? Like nobody was coming in to like check on. There was nothing. It was
Yeah,
a
it was-
house.
it was
set to just leave. for
like
ruin.
as in like we had to figure out where to step on the front porch on the beams
Gotcha.
because if we didn't we would fall through.
So yeah, my question was like maybe there's like a family that has it, and it's in the family. They don't want to go check up on it every so
Yeah.
often. Maybe they came back and had it cut, and they're like, "This looks like
Yeah,
not good."
which that could
It
have happened.
explains
Yeah.
that, but how
But you
does
had
that
to get there.
explain
It doesn't. It doesn't.
2 weeks? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
it
said
doesn't.
Yeah, it
You
was
were
like
gone for
literally a
2
2 week
weeks.
span, dude. Like, and
And
I want to
you
tell
said
all the other
trees
shit.
this
Yeah,
big
dude, like they
around.
were like this thick.
So how big is that for listeners? That's about what, like
About the microphone big.
microphone big. So let's say 3 inches.
No,
3
no,
inches
about
wide.
2 microphone. No.
Nobody knows the
Good,
microphone.
a good,
As a-
chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, a can. We'll
Oh,
say
a
that.
soda can.
A rain
soda
can.
Yeah, thick. That
Shout
works.
Shout out Rain.
Shout out rain. Yeah.
Bang.
But yeah, dude.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Fuel.
The running thing, the fucking windmill.
That's crazy. So any other recollection stories or stories you've heard about loss of time?
So
A lot of alien abductions usually
Yeah,
deal with
like-
loss of time.
So the only time I can remember having something like that, so it was already a late night. I would say it's probably midnight by the time like I get home, and I'm with Evan Holloway. Shout out, Big Ev, and I would say we probably stayed up till 3 or 4 in the morning. Typical high schooler shit. And Evan went to sleep on my couch. I went to sleep in my bed, of course. Granted, it's probably 3:30 at this point.
Yeah.
I can't go to sleep. probably lay in bed for maybe 45 minutes. Can't go to sleep. At this point, I was smoking cigarettes. Don't do that, kids. I go outside to smoke a cigarette because I can't sleep. Go out on my front porch, smoke a cigarette. I remember sitting, because we have rocking chairs on our front porch. I remember sitting on the rocking chair, smoking a cigarette. I finished a cigarette, and then in an instant, I am at the curb of my property, like at the street. I'm standing
By the dumpster?
No, like I have a front sidewalk.
Yeah.
That leads up to my porch.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way to the street, to the curb. I'm standing on my sidewalk at the curb. I'm staring at a street light.
Just
No
staring
recollection.
up.
No, like when I come to and realize I'm here,
Yeah, you then freak out.
my last memory was I was sitting on my porch.
That wasn't a cigarette, dog.
Oh, dude.
That wasn't a cigarette.
That was a pixie stick or whatever you call those.
That was
what
that
you
wacky
kids call that
tobacco.
shit.
I go back inside because I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
creepy.
chilling. Go back inside. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning.
How long were you fucking saying? You 3 hours?
You haven't told us this.
Yeah, what the
before?
fuck?
I have, but
Oh, I don't remember,
yeah.
man. That so
Yeah,
now it's gonna
that's
stick with me
fucked up,
forever.
dude.
That's
yeah, no,
that's
I would say
intense.
3:30, maybe 4. I really
That's
don't,
still a
I
solid.
don't
That's
remember.
hours you were standing there staring at a light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang, that's
You were
crazy.
getting abducted, man.
it was. I want to say I came inside and it was like 5.
Was Evan still there?
5:56, 5:57.
Yeah, Evan, like,
Was he
where-
sleeping?
Man, bro,
Was he
what
Yeah,
was
no,
he doing?
Evan slept through the
it.
whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
he was dead asleep.
do you have any?
Loss of time.
Because that one came to me again with the Brazoria house, but I don't know if it would count as loss of time. Exactly.
I don't think I have anything to run.
Gotcha. Okay. So just to add to the end of this, whether it's not, y'all can decide. So, and it's early enough to where I don't remember it super well, but we have my youngest brother, Kason. I believe we were all watching just TV or something, just hanging out in the living room, and the living room is in the same area as the front door.
Yeah.
And so we're watching TV or whatever. We all get up, go do something, and then we come back, and Kason isn't there. And we're like looking for him. We check around the house and everything, and then like we can't find him in the house. And like, you know, I remember my mom being freaked out. We're like, you know, ready to call police. Like, where's where's Kason at? You know, like searching around the property. We had this separate building off to the side. We're looking everywhere, could not find him. And we all come back inside, and he's just sitting on the couch. Yeah.
The whole time? And y'all were walking through that area going, where's Kason? And he didn't respond?
Nothing. Yeah. So I don't know if that's loss of time or if what that would be, but yeah, no,
Was he spaced out or
no, like completely normal, like just like
he's just in there like, eh.
yeah, like watching his show or whatever it is.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of
I have to
it's
talk
The
to my
Haunting of
mom.
Hill House or
To
whatever.
me-
Oh my God!
With
Yes.
the little girl, and they're like, "Where is she? Where is she?" And she's literally standing there, and they're
Oh,
walking
that's right.
past her, and
I
she's
do
like,
remember that.
I
I've
guess
been
you
here
can
the
say
whole
it's.
time.
I guess you can say it's time if you.
It's his time, maybe.
Well, if you, if you
He
consider.
slipped into
well,
a
if you,
portal.
yeah, I was about to say if
Yeah.
you consider time.
Oh, okay. I
Like
see what you mean.
slipping through reality.
Yeah,
basically.
like just missing the our area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to talk to I don't think Caden, my other brother, will remember that, but maybe my mom. I would be surprised if she didn't. But yeah, no, that's
because she was about to call.
no.
I'm
There's
sure
no
she
way
would.
Kason remembers that. No, because he okay. That's another thing.
He was just chilling.
He was like, I'd be surprised if he was 2.
Oh shit!
He was
so
young.
it's not like he could have got up and like went
Yeah,
off
no.
somewhere.
He's straight chilling.
Yeah, no.
And if he saw people being hustle and busting, he probably would have been like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Like,
exactly.
where's the party at?
yeah. So that's
that's crazy."
That's a creepy one. That's another one from that same
I just
house
picture
in
him
Brazoria.
as a baby just sitting there like,
Exactly, just hanging out and like,
"What?
yeah, what's
You
going
know,
on?
like,
Yeah,
what's wrong? Why is everyone freaking out?"
yeah.
Either also, another reason, whatever was in your house fucking took him.
So the other thing that I've thought of, and that scares me, this is another reason I don't like doppelgangers, is that wasn't Kason sitting there in the first place with us,
Oh,
and that
shit.
whenever we went to look for him, like whatever was there disappeared, and whenever we came back, in between the time us looking for him, he
Yeah.
came out and came to watch TV. That's my other thought.
Oh fuck, that's
But-
terrifying.
The brother
I
you
don't
have
like
now
that.
is not your actual brother.
That's stuff that scares me. Is like the whole idea
like,
that you
walk
can
up and
be
you
taken
poke
by
him,
your
like-
your
And it
mere
is-
self.
It's it makes it even more creepier because you and your brothers look exactly alike through like stages of your life.
Oh yeah. Like Caden currently looks like me when I was in high school, and we look like Case and me.
Yo, facts though.
Yeah. It's insane.
That's
and then
like
y'all know Kason,
Yeah.
the most innocent little kid. Like
Oh
it's
my
just
God,
like
yes.
it's insane.
That's all an act. He's gonna fucking kill you.
He's gonna give it. Oh man, yeah. So I'll be thinking about that. So you opened up our second piece of paper there. What's our next story that one of us will be choosing?
Shadow person.
Oh, I got one. It's a personal story though. Personal story.
It's got a hole in it though. It's weird.
So it's shadow people.
Shadow person.
Shadow people story.
Big topic.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
you got a
horror
lot.
community.
You know what? We could probably
have-
all find a story on that.
I need
and do
have
it.
what is shadow person?
Oh, okay.
I'm not too keen on
like
on terminology.
Gotcha. So
I
the
watch a lot
thing-
of movies.
Wait, we should save this.
We should save this for
Yeah,
what?
he doesn't know what it is. We should save it. We should save it.
But
So I
just to
can-
preface
I
what
mean,
it is.
describe it in
Y'all wanna,
detail.
no. Y'all want to fucking fuck with me all the time. No, we're gonna fuck with you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yes.
I can Google it.
No, don't Google it. That's not fun.
Don't spoil
Or
it.
y'all can just tell me what it is. You just tell me.
It's what
tell
you
me
think.
what the thing
Yeah,
is.
It's what you
it's
think.
literally
Literally what it
describes
is.
it.
It's a shadow
It's
person.
a shadow person.
Think of a person made of shadow.
Like it's a humanoid figure, but it's all black.
But the stories on
Okay.
it, on like the Hat Man
Yeah,
and
so
things
there's
like that,
specific shadow people. Yeah, like Hat
Yeah.
Man is like the most notorious where it's a tall dude with a hat that always looks evil.
The
Like he's
Babadook.
always doing something.
Yeah. Dude, I love that fucking
that's a
movie.
shadow person.
That's a shadow person, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dude, that fucking movie is fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Why can't you be normal?
Oh man, yeah. So shadow people, that's gonna be a good one. Are we all picking from that?
We watched that in that living room.
Ooh, have a
that.
big shadow person theme.
That's what he was saying.
So we
could-
all wear shadow
Black morph suits.
black
suits.
morph suits,
Yeah,
and you can never tell who's talking.
that'd be fun.
Oh, and that'll be interesting because that'll be the live show on Monday night.
Heavens, no.
Y'all want to do that?
Time to go to Party City.
Oh shit!
It's hot enough as it is, boys.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
so
true. I'm hot right
are
now.
we all agreeing upon shadow stories except for you? You can do whatever you
I
want.
am down.
I mean, if you want to do a shadow
I'll do a
person
shadow
thing,
person.
like I mean, if you just Google shadow person,
I'm down to do to skip this portion of it for that, and purely just do our encounters with shadow people because I mean I think I have.
Oh yeah.
I
you
mean,
got
technically,
plenty.
I already said an
Yeah.
encounter of shadow people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But do you have more? Is there enough there to fledge it out?
Yes, I do have more because I have a whole nother area.
That's
too.
all we need to know.
Okay.
So we can talk
Good
about
for
that at the
y'all.
end of it.
I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to conjure anything else.
Okay.
All right. Well, so are we done?
I think we're
Dude,
done.
we're done with episode 2.
Dude, this one got me.
Yeah, dude.
Like
This
a few
I'm.
times.
I think
got
your story
you,
got me.
dude. Fucking, I'm the one that experienced paranormal shit. I'm pulling that clip and putting it everywhere. That was fucked up. Well, anyways,
Yeah.
thank you guys so
on,
much.
On a serious note, I definitely think that there's some shit
We've invited
going
something.
on in
Yeah, we need to space. Rewind that beautiful beam
I
footage
might
and
take
see.
you up on doing like the saging
smudging.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Everything on the shelf the same.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you
Nothing
guys so
moved.
much for listening.
Where can they find everything?
Episode 2 from the Dead Reflections podcast. Please, if you could, comment, subscribe, like, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the monsters under your bed
That's
about
a good line.
us. Yeah, I
a
don't know
good
why.
line
You
right
like
there.
it? You like it? All right, that's our thing.
It's sticking.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your monsters under your bed
That's good.
about Dead Reflections podcast. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and we hope you have a very haunting and creepy night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.